Hello students, in the last video we were learning how to add fractions. We realized there were two different types of fraction addition. One type in which we have the same denominator, and that was the easy type, right? We just needed to add the top numbers and leave the denominator the same. The second type was a little bit more complicated. We actually had to find the least common multiple, add the fractions, and then simplify the fraction to find our result. We also can use fractions to solve problems. For example, the problem that we have in front of us. We need to find out the lengths of the lav, lead, and foot of the jet for the sailboat. These are shown on the right. As you can see, they're already giving us all the measurements of the sail. This is given as a mixed number. We need to find the perimeter of the sail. If we don't know what the perimeter means, we can go online and find out the definition of perimeter. Perimeter is the distance around an object. So in this case, we have to find out how much it will be if we add together the lav, which is this side of the sail, the feet of the foot of the sail, and the lead of the sail. All of that together we can do through addition of fractions. Let's go to the board and let me show you how to do this. I'm going to make my screen a little bit smaller. Hopefully I can put it like this so I can show you. I already started writing down all the fractions that they give us. 15 and 3/4, 16 and 7/8, and 5 and 1/2. As you can see, these fractions has a different denominator, so we cannot add them right away. This is a second type of fraction addition. We can only go through the least common multiple. We need to find the least common multiple of the numbers 4, 8, and 2. The only way for us to do that is to go through the multiplication table of 4, 8, and 2. If we go to multiplying 4, we find that 4 times 1 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, 4 times 3 is 12. Multiplication of 8, 8 times 1 is 8, 8 times 2 is 16, and 8 times 3 is 24, and so on. And finally, the multiplication of the table 2. 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 3 is 6, and 2 times 4 is 8, and so on. We have to look for a number that is included in all three different multiplication tables. On first glance, we can see that 8 is on 3 of them. So this is our LCM. The LCM of the numbers 4, 8, and 2 is 8. This was our first step to find the LCM. Now we have to add the fractions and transform the fractions so we can add them together. I'm going to delete part of the information so we have more space on the blackboard. Now that you know where we got the LCM. I'm going to leave the part of the problem on the top so you can see how to do from here. Now remember, our LCM was 8. So the second fraction is already transformed. We don't need to do anything to it. So we can put it over here, just bring it down, and don't do anything to it. Now the first fraction is not an 8 on the denominator. It's a 4. So we need to be able to have an 8 over there. How we will do this? Well, we're going to kind of follow the process similar to transforming a mixed fraction to an equivalent fraction, or a mixed number into an equivalent fraction, in which we get 8 and we divide by 4. Eight divided by 4 is 2. 8 divided by 4 was 2. So now we're going to multiply 2, the first fraction, the top by 2, and that will give us 6, and the bottom by 2, and that will give us 8. We just created a different fraction, which is an equivalent fraction. Pretty much this is what we did. We took 15 3/4 and multiplied by 2 over 2. Why 2? Because 2 times 4 was 8. Now let's do the same thing for the second fraction. In the second fraction we have a 2 instead of an 8. So we need to multiply 5 1/2 by 4 over 4 in order to have an equivalent fraction that has a denominator 8. This will give us 5 4/8. We're going to put it over here, 5 4/8. But this is a mess, so I'm going to clean up a little bit so we can see. I wish it was easier to delete, but it does take a little bit. I apologize. Alright, very well. So we went from the original fractions to fractions that had the same denominator. In this case, because we found the LCM was 8. Now we have the following fractions: 16 7/8 plus 5 4/8. As you can see, now our fractions have all the denominator 8. Now we can add them together. It is interesting how it's so much easier once we already done the LCM. Now what we need to do is we need to add the big numbers or whole numbers first. This will give us 36. Right? 15 plus 16 is 31, plus 5 is 36. And then we know that the fraction is going to have an A on the bottom. And now we just add the tops. 6 plus 7 is 13, plus 4 is 17. Now we can leave it like that, but remember how we called a type of fraction in which the top is bigger than the bottom? This is an improper fraction, and most instructors and in most problems, normally they don't want to leave the solution like that. Sometimes we want to create what is called a proper fraction. Our proper fraction will be 38 1/8. But you can leave it in either way. I hope that you learned and understood how to do application problems with fractions. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next lecture.